Hello and welcome to What the F Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Emboldens. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, May 12th, 2021. Welcome to day 113. House Republicans removed Representative Liz Cheney from her leadership role because of her criticism of Trump's repeated lies that the 2020 election was stolen from him and about his role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Prior to the removal of Cheney as the number 3 House Republican over her condemnation of Trump's election lies, Cheney delivered a defiant final speech from the House floor, calling Trump a threat we have never seen before. Cheney also warned that Trump risks inciting further violence by continuing to push his baseless claims about voter fraud, which her fellow Republican colleagues have echoed. Cheney said, "Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens the liar. I will not participate in that." She added, "If you want leaders who will enable and spread his destructive lies, I'm not your person. You have plenty of others to choose from. That will be their legacy." Republicans are expected to replace Cheney with Representative Elise Stefanik, a former moderate turned Trump loyalist who voted against certifying the results of the 2020 election. Meanwhile, Trump's acting attorney general testified that the Justice Department had no evidence of widespread voter fraud at the time of the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Jeffrey Rosen, however, declined to answer House Oversight Committee questions about whether Trump instructed him to take any action to advance the unfounded claims of election fraud. Christopher Miller, who was the acting defense secretary on January 6th, also testified and answered questions about why it took hours for the National Guard to respond to the Capitol even as the mob descended on the building, saying that he'd worried that sending troops to the Capitol would contribute to perceptions of a military coup under Trump. Meanwhile, more than 100 Republicans threatened to form a third party if the Republican Party doesn't break its ties with Trump. The signatories, which include former ambassadors, governors, congressional members, and cabinet secretaries, called for the party to return to principled leadership and to reject division and conspiracy theories. The statement, which will be released Thursday and includes 13 principles that the signatories want the GOP to embrace, follows House Republicans' ousting of Liz Cheney. Biden's Attorney General and his Homeland Security Secretary both testified that the greatest domestic threat to the U.S. is from those who advocate for the superiority of the white race. Merrick Garland added that if there has to be a hard hierarchy of things that we prioritize, the January 6th attack would be at the top because it most threatened democracy. Garland said, "I have not seen a more dangerous threat to democracy than the invasion of the Capitol," calling it an attempt to interfere with the fundamental element of our democracy, a peaceful transfer of power. Alejandro Mayorkas added that the department is taking a new approach to addressing domestic violent extremism both internally and externally. And finally, House Democrats and the White House reached an agreement to allow Don McGahn to testify before Congress about Trump's efforts to obstruct Robert Mueller's investigation. House Democrats had already subpoenaed Trump's former White House counsel in 2019, seeking his testimony about his role as a key witness in the Mueller report regarding Trump's efforts to obstruct the Russia investigation. After McGahn refused to appear at Trump's direction, the Judiciary Committee sued. Trump's Justice Department, which defended McGahn, argued that McGahn was absolutely immune from testifying before Congress about his job, which the D.C. Circuit Court later rejected. The agreement offered no details about the deal, including whether McGahn would testify in public. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Emboldens.